Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna, and we're going to talk a little bit today about meditation. And our first lesson is starting where you are. So I am on a couch, a big blue couch in my living room. So physically, this is where I am, but let me give you a little bit of information. I am an author, a content strategist, and I was on the path to becoming a child and family therapist. And I think sometimes in life you find your path through adversity. So I have had an enormous amount of adversity. And I started to realize over the past 15 years that sometimes your path becomes what you've gone through, and your ability to sort of navigate that becomes your purpose to help others navigate that. So that is why I'm here. I've studied with many meditation teachers, and I've been very fortunate to be part of incredibly kind and supportive Buddhist communities. I don't ascribe to Buddhism as a religion, but I will say that studying Zen Buddhism and studying insight meditation, those have all been incredibly helpful tools as I've gone through major tragedies. People are always curious when I say, like, well, what kind of major tragedies? Because we all want to know the story, right? I can say that I had an extremely challenging childhood, a lot of abuse, and I lost my identical twin about 15 years ago. We were extremely close. I've been through other terrible things in life, but I can say sitting here that I am now thriving. And I've been able to thrive because of some of these tools that I want to teach you today and throughout the video series that I'm going to be creating. So welcome. Thank you for joining me here. I'm very excited to share some of what I know. And I'd love to hear your feedback, questions, comments. So let's get started. So our lesson today is starting where you are. And that just means with just sitting, just being able to sit with wherever you are in the moment. That is how we stay calm. That is how we accept ourselves. That is where self-love and self-compassion come from. And ultimately, how we're able to build what I call a container for big emotions. So meditation is so much more than just sitting and umming, right? It's right? People think like, oh, it's this like navel gazing, new agey, whatever, right? Meditation isn't for me, but actually it can be so much more than what you imagine it to be. And some people think that meditation is about calming yourself down, being blissful, and it's really none of those things. And I kind of wanted to share that with you because I think a lot of people have this misconception that you're going to escape something, that you're going to sit down and you're going to meditate and you're going to find enlightenment or this calm place. And sometimes that's really not true. I think really it's about, well, there's a couple of things. So meditation isn't relaxing or checking out. Okay, that's rule number one. We're actually just giving ourselves a chance to sit with what's coming up. Thoughts, emotions, physical sensations. So you're not really escaping anything. You're not relaxing. You're actually paying attention. So meditation can actually be quite difficult in that way because we're asking ourselves to really just be with ourselves, maybe for the first time ever. We're not trying to do anything. We're just being. So that's actually like rule number one of meditation. You're not going to reach some other state of being. You're going to sit with whatever you are, wherever you are right now. And again, we're starting where we are. So that's rule number one. And I thought that was really, really important to say. And getting back to like kind of just, we're not going anywhere. We're not striving for anything when we're meditating. And people often feel like that's like they're failing. They're failing in meditation if they're not reaching some other level of consciousness. So I want you to sort of take that off your list. If you're sitting here thinking, oh, there's no way I can do whatever Jenna's saying, the thing is, you don't have to do anything. That's the greatest part about meditation. You literally just have to sit. And we'll be talking about what those things are when you sit, breathing and what you do with your hands and your eyes. Like, this is a full body experience, but you're not striving to do anything, which is a relief, right? Even when people talk about mindfulness, and you guys have probably heard of Calm and other apps that help you go to sleep, those are relaxation methods. Those aren't really meditation. There's a big difference. Right. So meditation doesn't mean clearing your minds. Okay. The big one. Meditation is about compassion. It's about compassion for ourselves. So when we are meditating, like, lots of thoughts and emotions are going to come up, right? That's natural. And I think a lot of times people feel like if that happens, that there's something they have to do about it. And again, that they're doing something wrong or they're wrong. And the truth is, none of those things are true. So you're going to learn as you meditate to notice thoughts and emotions, embrace them, and just like allow them to be with you. And that builds a greater sense of compassion for yourself. And it gives you a chance to observe your thoughts and your emotions without having to do anything about them. So that's the other thing that meditation really helps you to identify. Also, when you're meditating, you're going to want to keep finding somewhere comfortable. I think that's natural. Human beings and even animals, you're constantly trying to find a way to be comfortable. We see it at night, right? You go to sleep, maybe you're tossing and turning, you keep trying to find that perfect position in bed. And it doesn't really exist. And in meditation, you're going to notice that too. That you're going to want to shift your position. Maybe you're even going to get itchy. Like, sometimes when I meditate, my nose it itches just like about an hour into meditating, and without fail, I'll just start getting itchy. And I know that this is going to happen, and I'm going to want to scratch it. And I just kind of have to be with that, right? I have to just go, oh, there's itchiness. Okay. And if I do scratch the itch, it's okay for a minute, right? But then it'll come back. And that really sums up meditation. It sums up your spiritual practice. You're striving to become comfortable is the opposite of what we learn in meditation, which is that we have to let go of that. We have to let go of striving. We have to let go of trying to be comfortable. There's nothing really comfortable about meditation. Because you're sitting with yourself, maybe for the first time ever, and that could be really uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I kind of want you to go into meditation knowing that that's something that you're going to be facing. And again, you're going to start where you are. You're going to embrace where you are. I'd like to tell practitioners that, when you first start meditating, it might be so uncomfortable that you can only last 3 minutes. That is fine. Again, there is nobody judging you. There's nowhere to go. There's no striving. There is no perfect thing. You have to go with what feels comfortable for you. When I first started meditating as an adult, because I started when I was little, I started when I was about 7. As an adult, when I kind of formalized my practice, I think I was able to make it maybe 10 minutes when I first started, seriously started. And that was okay, sort of pushing myself and being unkind to myself to do it longer had the opposite effect of just being where I was. So I want you guys to really just touch base with yourself, be kind to yourself. If you can only do this for 5 minutes, do it for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. It doesn't matter. As you practice, like anything else, you'll be able to expand the amount of time that you can kind of just sit. And I'll be showing you, how to breathe, what the right hand motions, they're called mudras, the proper sitting positions, and there are options there. The whole point right now is for you to build your practice of meditation, because the longer The more rigorous your practice is, and the more time that you spend with yourself, the more you can cultivate being able to hold big emotions and to release big emotions. So one of the things that makes us more and more resilient is our ability to sit with whatever is coming up. You know, we've got a very challenging time. COVID has really brought most people to their knees. People are losing friends and family. A lot of people have lost their jobs, their homes, even basic things like food. Okay, we're in a very chaotic time. And sitting with that, right? Not trying to push it away, not trying to change it, but just sitting with that, that is where sanity lives. And I think sometimes we're in a society that wants to push all the negative emotions away. And the wonderful thing about what I've learned in my own practice is that life is difficult, okay? Suffering is a part of the human experience. And when we embrace that, when we truly embrace that, we can have a fuller and richer life, even amidst chaos, because we're not trying to bend the reality of our life to fit this picture of non-struggle, of non-chaos, of complete stability. The moment we let go of that, we can meet ourselves where we are, and we can decrease our suffering. We have this story in the society that security, stability, and only good things happening to us are a measure of a good life. And I'm here to challenge that with you. Having a good life doesn't mean that bad things don't happen to you, right? Because that's impossible, because as we've already discussed, that's part of the human condition. Bad things are going to happen, right? But it's how we meet ourselves in that moment, how compassionate we are with ourselves, how gentle we are with ourselves, how we're able to not get hooked into our mind, how we're able to just sit and let things come up, but not get hooked into them, not build a fire around those emotions. That's what Pema Chodron talks about, and I'm a big fan of Pema Chodron for so many reasons, but I think that was one of the first lessons that I learned from her, was how to just observe what's going on. So that is what we're going to be discussing. Those are the things we're going to be learning. This is sort of the primer to our first video, in a sense. Like, I'll be showing you some of those meditation practices, and as we kind of go through our videos, I'm also going to be talking about becoming a life-wise person. I think a lot of us in our younger years want to know, we want the magic formula, right? We want to know, like, well, how can I be this person that's got it all together, right? That has all the answers, that's successful. And, you know, the answer is moment to moment. That's how. Wisdom comes from being, from committing to not knowing, to not grasping for security or stability, but going on this grand adventure of unknowingness, of compassion, of love. The more that we can sit with ourselves, the more that we can notice ourselves and love ourselves through all of our emotions, the more loving we can be to the rest of the world. If I see something in somebody else, and let's say I notice, maybe I have a sense of disgust, maybe I have some judgment around that person. If I can remain open to that feeling that comes up inside of me, and I can sit with that, I can have an open heart towards others. If I don't try to change my reaction, in a sense, like if I can just have a sense of deep curiosity and compassion for myself, I can extend that to all beings. And that is the path. That is the work. That is starting where you are. And in a sense, you're always starting where you are. So I will leave you with that. And in our next video, we're going to continue to learn about some of the techniques of meditation that help you sit with yourself in the moment, mindfully, respectfully, compassionately, maybe for 5 minutes at a time, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 1 minute, but just starting exactly and meeting yourself exactly where you are. Thanks, everybody.